Yuji Itadori is the best new gen protagonist. I've been looking through the community for a while now and I keep seeing the same comments over and over again.
Gojo is so much better than Yuji, he's the true main character.
And
Yuji is so weak as a protagonist.
now, addressing the first, having more power does not equal better character writing. Gojo is incredible, yes, of course he is, but the reason we don't primarily follow him is because he's more like a god that's beyond us ordinary humans. The quote, "Throughout heavens and earth, I alone am the honoured one," isn't really that relatable, but a teenage boy being thrust into so many horrible situations and not being able to keep it together, that's something a lot of us, including myself, can relate to. Obviously, I'm not saying I've been what Yuji's went through, but the feeling of not knowing what to do with your life and forcing yourself to keep going, yeah, that hits deep. And Yuji's story is that, but times 1,000. Don't get me wrong, I love Gojo as much as anyone does, I simp for him on a daily basis, but the story wouldn't be able to happen if we followed him alone. As Kenjaku said, Yuji is the eye of the storm for the new era. Gojo is just the one who's fostering that new era. Regarding the second statement, well, I don't even know what to say to that, it's just so broad. If you're saying that Yuji doesn't have enough badass moments, are we watching the same show? And all of the clips I just used are from the anime. In the manga, he's a completely different beast, but the reason I love this guy is because of how realistically he is portrayed. At the beginning, he's rightfully scared of dying. You'll see a lot of protagonists in anime and manga who have absolutely zero fear of death from day one. Yuji is not like this. This was seen when he begged for his life against the special grade care spirit. His fear of dying is what allowed Sukuna to take full control of him. And this is when the King of Curses realizes that if Yuji's mind breaks enough, he can take control of his mind a lot easier. And this theme continues throughout. And Sukuna just enjoys doing it. And also think about the fact that Yuji is constantly hearing this guy in his head at all times. And that's some serious mental fortitude to just block all of that out. Because we all know that Sukuna's messed up enough to constantly just be bickering in this guy's ear. The only reason he was able to take back control and die was because of Megumi telling him why he saved his life and why he kept Yuji alive. This showed Yuji, or implemented into his mind, that if he truly let Sukuna just go loose, a lot of the wrong deaths that he wants to prevent would have just kept on happening, and that's the opposite of what his grandfather wanted from him. Because, you know, letting the King of Curses go loose and just kill and do whatever he wants, yeah, it's not particularly helping others, is it? Yuji is a very innocent guy, but things almost never go his way because Akutami hates us. He succeeded in a talk no jutsu to bring his friend back, but then Mahito still killed him anyway. And Itadori was left there shattered, begging for Sukuna's help as they both laughed in his face. This also plays a part in how Yuji decides to live his life. Sukuna is truly evil, and under no circumstances should he be let free. This isn't a Naruto/Kurama situation. Sukuna literally eats and murders people. After this, Yuji continues to grow in power and he almost stabilizes. He has two best friends, a badass teacher that's completely unstoppable, and he's come to terms with what his job is in this world, as he successfully collects more and more of Sukuna's fingers. But then, the Shibuya incident happens. Sukuna's rampage broke Yuji completely. He murdered an unfathomable amount of people just to torture him and make his mind break. The whole reaction from Yuji is truly heartbreaking. He really doesn't deserve all of this and shouldn't have to die, but he chooses to keep going, which is what his true strength is. I know the whole not giving up is commonplace in manga, but this is next level. We see many main characters that take physical pain and keep going, but Yuji suffers mentally. Despite me saying all of this, his resolve was still wavering naturally. And then what makes him snap is Nobara's death. Well, you know, she's probably alive, but you know. Anyway, people around him kept dying. Nanami and all of Shibuya, but ultimately losing one of his best friends destroyed him, and if not for Todo, he would have given up right there. His goal becomes to kill curses, even if it seems like it has no meaning. And in Yuji's mind, Sukuna is the culmination of all of these curses and their evil. Yuji, after Shibuya, decides that if he wants to keep everyone safe, primarily Megumi, he has to stay away from them, otherwise he's gonna just get them killed. And well, the only reason he even travels with Megumi is because he gave Yuji something to live for again outside of his core goal, to save him and his sister Sumiki. Against Hikari, he literally says he's just a cog in the machine and his purpose is to exercise curses. Yuji is no longer afraid of dying, but he doesn't want his death to mean nothing. So when the option to kill him and Sukuna becomes a good one, he is instantly willing to give up his life. When Angel tells him that the only way she'll help them unseal Gojo is if they help her kill the disgraced one, aka Sukuna, and Yuji is more than willing to give up his life. And I mean, why wouldn't he? Gojo said he could beat Sukuna at full power, and at this time, Yuji only had 15 fingers, so even if they found all of the other fingers, it wouldn't really matter because 5 fingers Sukuna is not going to stand a chance against Gojo. Now, despite coming to terms with his purpose, Sukuna comes along and ruins everything again. He takes over Megumi right in front of Yuji, who is completely powerless. This is where he has his entire reason for living and dying taken away from him. So his mind subconsciously decides that he needs to be the one to take care of Sukuna to make his death mean something. This is the main reason I don't see Sukuna dying to Gojo, and considering the latest chapter, yeah, pretty unlikely. I literally, in pure honesty, this chapter came out whilst I was editing this and writing this, so that's fun. And Gojo isn't nearly as connected to Sukuna as he is to Kenjaku/Geto, other than them both being the strongest. Don't get me wrong, the fight is necessary. It's there to prove who truly deserves the title of the strongest, the truly honoured one. But it's not really a satisfying end to Yuji's character arc. Kenjaku caused Gojo so much pain and was the one to seal him, and he's also Yuji's father, or mother, who seemingly planned to have him be a wrestle for Sukuna and more. It's not a simple matter of defeating Sukuna will solve all of our problems, but it is necessary for Yuji to be a main part of his defeat, to make the end of his character arc satisfying. Now, I could go in depth into how Yuji's going to play a main part in stopping Sukuna and Kenjaku, but that's not really why I made this video. I made it to explain why Yuji is an incredible main character, and honestly, I feel like he's underrated. A character who experiences more mentally and has problems that we can relate to is a lot more interesting than a lot of the other new gen protagonists, which is why I believe Yuji is the best. And for more content, please make sure to click the video on your screen right now and subscribe if you haven't already, because, you know, like 90% of you haven't. I know everyone says this, but right now I am trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and when I do, I'll definitely start uploading even more. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support recently. It actually means a lot to me. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.